I wish we had all the papyri that Joseph Smith had. The sad thing is that most of them were lost in the Great Chicago Fire. Let me tell you what happened. After Joseph's death, the papyri were owned by his mother and then his wife, and eventually they were separated. And most of them ended up in a museum in Chicago. And that was all burned in the Great Fire. The long roll, the shorter roll, and other fragments we can document they were there before, and then that they were gone after the fire. We didn't know that a few of them had been given to a housekeeper. And these few fragments, which had been mounted under glass, eventually made their way to the Metropolitan Museum of New York. And in 1966, these came to the attention of a scholar at the University of Utah, and in 1967 they were returned to the church. These were some of the papyri fragments that Joseph Smith had. As we look through all of the accounts, people who knew Joseph Smith and saw the papyri fragments and the rolls while he was alive and heard him or his mother talk about them, he had two rolls, one of them a long roll, and that's the one that Joseph and others refer to as the source of the Book of Abraham. That roll was destroyed in the Chicago fire. And what we can document is that he had already mounted some under glass before people were saying that he's translating from the long roll. So the fragments that we have, they're not what others were saying and what Joseph Smith was saying he was translating from. Anyone who tells you that Joseph Smith is translating from the text around facsimile 1 on the small fragment that we have is just flying in the face of the historical accounts that tell us the source is the long scroll.